Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. Welcome back to F1 with Mike, and this is your review for the United States Grand Prix. Now, I told you guys yesterday, if you watched my video from yesterday, if you've not watched my review to the sprint race, I'll put the link in the description, go check it out. I told you guys yesterday today was going to be a blockbuster. And you know what? If you didn't watch the race, I'm so sorry, you missed a good one. But I would advise, don't just go watch the highlight. Find where you can watch the race again. Like, it was that amazing. It was happening from the beginning up until the end. Anyway, let's get into what happened during this race. Lap one, man, I think I mentioned this in my video yesterday. We all knew going into turn one, there is no way Lando Norris was going to be in front of Max Verstappen, even though Lando qualified on pole. Lando was P1, Max was P2. In P3, you had Carlos Sainz, and P4 you had Charles Leclerc, and P5 you had Oscar Piastri. Now, for sure, and I think there's a start since 2021 to date at the US Grand Prix. There has been no time where the person that was on pole goes into turn one, lap one in front. It's always the person in P2. And today we had something slightly different, but it was someone from P4 jumping straight to P1, and that was Charles Leclerc. The beginning, everyone got off well. Lando went on to cover Max, and you know Max was not going to yield. He was not going to yield because he knew his best chance to overtake Lando was there. He couldn't have waited any longer for that. So he was like, this is my best opportunity. I'm going to take it. And Lando went over. Lando, I think, went in to cover Max, although he forgot about his own race to choose a good braking point. So maybe even if Max was like going to get in there to try cover him, maybe he would have done the switcheroo and maybe try a traction race down to turn two. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. And, well, Max covered the corner and, well, he forced Lando off the track. And Charles Leclerc was sitting pretty, just watching them. And, ooh, he's like, yeah, I like this. And you know what? He got into the lead. And into turn one, it was Leclerc, Verstappen, then Norris, then Sainz, like that. So Sainz did drop a place, but by the end of lap two, he got Lando, and I think by the end of lap two, he was already putting pressure on Max Verstappen until the safety car came out. Now the safety car was caused by Lewis Hamilton. I think this is one of the worst weekends for Lewis Hamilton in a long time. I don't understand what's wrong with that car. It's in qualifying for the race. It didn't work out for him. As you know, he qualified P19, but he started P17, you know. I think he wanted some changes to the car, but I think the mechanics could not do that for some reason. I think I'll look into that. I think it's possibly because they are out of parts, and because George crashed, they had to use the old spec car, the parts from the old spec car at Singapore for George. So there was nothing available for Lewis to reverse back to the old spec. And well, it seems like something is wrong with that car because it's unlike Lewis. I think by lap two, Lewis had made up 5 positions because of the grid penalty that was given to Lawson and George starting from the pit lane. And I think one more person was at the back. I just can't remember who. So Lewis started P17 and, well, he made 5 positions by the end of lap two. He was up to P12. And by lap 3, he was beached in the gravel, and which caused a safety car. I think that calmed things a bit down. It calmed things down a bit. And to be honest, if that safety car did not happen, I believe Carlos Sainz will have gotten Max much earlier than he did. Although, lucky for Max, that was able to calm things down for him because his car also had issues. I think like maybe 4 or 5 laps into the race, GP, his race engineer, let him know that, hey, try manage as best as you can. There's an issue with the car, and they will try to fix it, I think, at the pit stop. I don't think they fixed it at the pit stop because they had a 2.7 pit stop, I don't think there was time for anything for them to make any changes to that car. He went in, changed his tires, and he was out again. And well, he was able to manage, but Carlos Sainz with the undercut, Ferrari, they got him. And as he was coming out of the pit lane, well, Carlos was true. The undercut worked very powerful on this track. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why Red Bull let themselves to be undercut like that. Though I believe they should have brought him, like Max, a bit earlier than Carlos, because even if it was like one lap after Sainz had pitted, Max should have come in. Although for some reasons they did not do that, and yeah, it is what it is. Now, deep into the race again, what happens? Well, Lando pits. I think Lando actually tried, the McLarens tried to drag out the first stint on the mediums. Lando went like 29 laps or something, maybe 28, 29 laps, and so did Oscar. And when he came out, I think he was maybe 6 seconds behind Max Verstappen. And well, that's when we knew the race was on, innit? Because the Red Bull wasn't catching Sainz. I mean, he tried to keep up, the gap then increased so much, but he couldn't catch him as quick as he wanted. And I think because of the issue they had, it affected the pace and they could not catch up. Now, the McLaren, on the other hand, I think because of during the sprint race, one thing I didn't understand is during the sprint race, Max was good. Like, he was able to maintain a gap between him and the guys behind him, you know. But for the main race itself, I think there's something that Red Bull need to look at in their car. Maybe setup change. I don't think they changed the setup from the sprint race to the main race. I think the hard tires didn't just favor them on this track. Clearly, they were struggling on those hard tires. And well, Lando chased down Max. And honestly, Max Verstappen, you see, performances like today are things that will secure Max Verstappen a world championship. Like the defensive masterclass that we witnessed, this guy, for Lando to close down the gap between he and Max in the time he did, very short, and for Max Verstappen to defend Lando Norris for more than 8 laps, with Lando having DRS. Oh my goodness. I think the last time we saw such defensive prowess was last year in Brazil when Alonso was battling Sergio Perez for P3, and Max Verstappen absolutely delivered. He didn't make a single mistake, not a single lockup. And eventually, Lando got him, Although Lando went off the track to gain the position. Now, this is where we discuss the legalities of racing. Some people are saying, oh, but compared to what George Russell did against Bottas, because George Russell got a 5-second penalty, right, in the race for pushing Bottas off the track. Now, the thing is, George was on the track, but Bottas wasn't. Now, this is where, if you know the rules of racing, this is where it favors you. For anyone that wants to go ahead and compare, like if you are defending a position and you are ahead at the apex of a corner, going into a corner, you can literally push someone off track and get away with it. And that was exactly what Max Verstappen did. I am not saying it's right, and it's not like I support it, but it's racing, it's the rules. There's nothing we can do against it. The problem with George was George was not the one defending the position. Bottas was the one defending the position. Now, he went for a lunge to overtake Bottas. But Bottas was the one defending. And that lunge that that position he was going to take, in the process of doing that, he pushed Bottas off the track. Now, that is pushing the driver off the track and gaining an advantage. Now, if you want to see how the FIA described the reason for why they give the penalty to George, I think I can put that somewhere over this as I'm talking. I'll find that, and hopefully it's legible enough for you to pause and read, but you can do that, and I hope you can understand that. So yeah, and the surprise for me, Ferrari. Oh my goodness, Ferrari out of nowhere. Honestly, now I feel like Even though in the sprint race, Ferrari finished second and fourth, I believe if they had qualified better, they would have won that sprint race. Either Sainz or Leclerc, either of them would have won it. And that's just how good they are. Like during the race, they were just amazing. As Leclerc took the lead from lap 1 ahead of Max, nobody saw him again. Nobody saw him again. I think the only other time that someone took up the lead was when he pitted, and because McLaren kept their stint very long, so of course they were going to lead before he came out again, and that was exactly what happened. 1-2. Carlos Sainz had an amazing weekend as well. Honestly, as much as Charles Leclerc did very well in the race, you can't give, you have to give credits to Sainz as well. He had a great weekend, an amazing weekend actually. P2 in the sprint race, P2 in the main race, you can't complain. Like, that was amazing from both Ferraris. And to think that they did not bring any upgrade to this race, because I think now they are more confident in their car, because it's like, for them to not even do that, it's like, yeah, we know we found something. And to be honest, if the Ferraris had qualified better in Singapore, they would have finished in the better, they would have challenged Lando for the lead, actually, for the lead of that race. But you know, they qualified, the last qualifying in Singapore, of course, it was a one-lap shootout and they couldn't do well with that. And yeah, so that happens. It's racing. You have to do something. If you don't do things well at a particular point, it's going to get you. Just like I said yesterday, if you have one chance to do something in F1, you try as much as possible to do it best on your first try. If not, you don't know if you get a second chance, because a safety car, a yellow flag, a red flag might cause you to not get that second time of running. Now, at this point, let me take this time to give a huge shout out to Liam Lawson and Franco Colapinto. Oh my days. Now, Liam started P19. We all know he had a 60 place grid penalty because of he took a new engine and all these new components in the race, and he started P19 on the hard tires and he went long. Colapinto as well started on the hard tires, although he qualified P16 and he went long. Now, for those that started the race like in a better position, good example, Perez. I'll get to Perez very soon. Now, even George started from the pit lane. He started on the hard tires. He even had a 5-second penalty when he came in to change his tires. Now, for me, they did well because, of course, initially there is the traffic that you face, but then you have a tire that lasts longer and goes farther into the race. So that is something that they had on their side. So they were able to get free air later into the race once the other guys had pitted for to change from the mediums to the hard tires. And by the time these guys pitted, George, Colapinto, and Liam Lawson, they went on the mediums with low fuel. You just knew they were going to get all those positions, and that was exactly what happened. Because the guys on that started on mediums, yeah, you had faster tires, but you were stuck in traffic. You couldn't do much with it because everybody was trying to defend. That was where they lost all their time. And these guys that went longer, everything just worked perfectly for them. And for Liam Lawson, I think it's the perfect thing that could happen to him. Your first weekend in F1, you're trying to put yourself out there for like this, because this is an audition, to be honest, for the second Red Bull seat. If he is given the second seat in Red Bull next year, I wouldn't be surprised. Although there's the politics of it as well, right? Also, it depends on how much money Red Bull is going to get from Liam coming into the sport, because the amount of money Perez brings is also one thing, because as much as there is talent there, you also have to consider the financial impact that it will have on the team, right? But this takes nothing away from Liam Lawson. Amazing drive today. That's the way he has started. I hope it continues to go well for him like this. And also Colapinto outperforming his teammate again. Listen, hats off, my guy. You're doing amazing things. I just wish you had a seat for next year. Unfortunately, you don't. And that is really sad. Although you will see him around, I'm sure he will be the reserve driver for Williams Racing next year. So that's good to see. He finished the race P10, And P9 was Liam Lawson. Amazing drive from P19 to P9. Amazing. On your first weekend back. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I'm sure Yuki was quite pissed that Liam overtook him at a particular point in the race. Like, how did it happen? But I mean, as I explained earlier, those that were on medium tires, started the race on medium tires, it just didn't work out for them because when they had good tires, they were racing crazy. And when by the time they switched to the hard tires, these guys that came out on fresher mediums, faster tires with low fuel, they're gonna get you. Like, it's common sense. And also Yuki had a 5-second penalty for something. I think it was either pushing someone off the track or maybe going off the track more than 4 times. So you get a 5-second penalty for that. So there's that. Now I did have some predictions before the weekend. My prediction for the weekend. My prediction for the race was on pole would be Lando Norris, which I got, even though we all know that Max would have set a better lap time for pole, if not for the crash of George Russell. And also, the same corner where George Russell crashed was the same corner where Lewis Hamilton's car also spun. So it tells you something. There's definitely something wrong with that car. Mercedes just need to look into it and try to get to the bottom of it as soon as possible, because we have another race this weekend. Oh, I miss days like this. Also, on the championship table, I know we all talk about Lando and Max championship battle, but hey, Charles Leclerc is just 22 points behind Lando now. I'm just saying, I'm not saying Charles could be P2, but I'm just telling you that the gap between Lando and Charles is now down to 22 points. And the gap between Max Verstappen and Lando has now increased by 5 points because he got 2 points extra in the sprint race and 3 points extra in the race. So that 52-point lead for Max has become a 57-point lead over Lando. In all facets, I think this was an amazing weekend for Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Although, in the constructors, Ferrari are now just 4 points behind Red Bull, and well, McLaren are way ahead of Red Bull. I think they're like 40 points ahead of Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. So, all things being equal, it looks like the Ferrari could overtake Red Bull. And I think for sure, and listen, if Ferrari should overtake Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, that is enough reason to sack Sergio Perez. I'm sorry. Like, it might be harsh, but it's enough reason to sack Sergio Perez because Max Verstappen is basically dragging this team. And if Max can win the World Championship and Red Bull finish third in the Constructors' Championship, wow, that will be a first in history. And this is just more testament to the driving prowess of Max Verstappen. The defensive driving today, oh my God. I cannot speak so much about it. Anyway, I don't want to make this too long, even though I've done it too long already. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the time, even though no microphone. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you very soon. There's another race this weekend, so I'll be dropping my predictions for the race, Mexican Grand Prix this weekend. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for the love and support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Have an amazing week. See you soon. Peace.